This video brought to you by our Patreons. Please consider supporting this channel and joining our Patreons at patreon.com/NovaWing24.
Hi there folks, my name's NovaWing24 and welcome to the NovaWrap, your one-stop location for your simulation release news and goings on from the week that was. So here we are on Sunday the 13th of December 2020 for the penultimate episode for 2020. Just an interesting little piece of trivia here. This has actually been the longest running that this series has gone throughout an entire year. Something COVID obviously clipped my wings and I didn't have as much travel that I normally have. Or events, so hence that you guys ended up getting more of me than you normally get. I don't know whether that's a good thing or not, but there you go. Interesting little tidbit for you. Something else I do want to say, a huge thank you to each and every one of you viewers and supporters of my channel we crossed over last week. We crossed over 6,000 subscribers here on the channel, and I cannot thank you guys enough for the support that I receive from you guys, because it really does mean so much to me. As I said, this channel, as we explained a few weeks ago, I started this channel because I feel that there needs to be more of an independent voice for the community, for the flight simulation community, and for the greater simulation community as a whole. And I am so grateful that so many of you actually believe in the journey that we are on together and support the work that I do. So thank you so much for each and every one of you who comes along, watches my videos, and supports the work the channel does. So thank you so much. All right, on to the news for the week. So we are getting started with, of course, with the Sim of the Hour, Microsoft Flight Simulator. Going to follow on from last week's style. We're going to go through, we're going to have some of the bigger releases, small name releases, and we're going to go through some of the other releases. Alright, let's starting off with Giovetsky Design this week with the releasing of his latest landmark packs of Chicago landmarks. Now, this is a interesting one. I'm actually going to call this one out. This is rather interesting, and this one feels like it's too early, this one. So normally with Giovetsky Design's landmarks packs, normally they release the landmarks and some updated airports. This one doesn't do that. It looks like this one primarily focuses just on the city itself and city buildings, but it does add in 17 heliports, which is kind of cool. Unfortunately, we don't have any helicopters or vertical takeoff and landing aircraft at the moment, so I guess we have to wait for those to get the full value of this scenery. Either way, though, this is a port over of his FSX and prepared work into the new sim, and some of the limitations that come with that. I also noticed this is the most expensive of his landmark packs as well, which is a bit interesting. So this one's coming in at $20 US or original equivalent, available from your favorite flight sim retailer. Continuing on with established developers, with developer MK Studios releasing their latest product for the new sim with the release of Dublin International Airport. So this one is MK Studios. I love your work, but you're always so light on the detail that you do. Look, the detail they've got is not very great, but looking at the screenshots and the renders here, it looks pretty damn detailed. So this is the airport as it's laid out in 2020. Including all the up-to-date, all the standard renumbering that the airport's recently gone through, custom ground poly, custom ground textures, undulating runways and taxiways also included, with some interior terminal modeling. I really think that the developers should look more into the parallax development that Microsoft has pioneered. I really think the developers should look more at that rather than burning polys on fully detailed interiors. But I think this one's like an interesting sort of compromise here. Full suite of GSE equipment customized for the airport also included. Beautiful sets of night lighting included, and for various other detritus kicking around as well, and all FBO facilities included as well. And this was coming in at a very reasonable price for a very good price for this one, for a highly detailed airport like this, coming in at $20 US or the original equivalent, available now from Orbix Direct. And another release, this one is a bit more of a smaller scale from developer Gaia Simulations. Saw the release of their latest Austrian airport, release of St. Johann Airport in Tyrol. Now, this is a really interesting little GA operating field here with a single asphalt runway, and there's a variety of really highly detailed and customized scenery for this one. So looks really impressive. Again, not a lot of detail about this one, but what I'm loving from the screenshots that I'm seeing is that, again, like a lot of things that Gaia Simulations do, they modeled not just the airport itself, but also the surrounding area with beautiful details of the apartment buildings just off the end of the runway. Important for visuals there. Also includes a full set of custom, also designed to work in with different texture sets as well. So will work with snow covered areas as well, which is kind of cool. And yes, there are cows there as well. In terms of the actual modeling of the of this product itself, it includes the main St. Johann airfield, also includes the old airfield as well, or there's like a smaller sort of older airfield there just outside of the outskirts of town, and then the main town, and then a town of Kirchdorf in Tyrol, also included as well for a helipad. So there's a lot going on in this airport, possibly a little on the overpriced side, coming in at $15 or your regional equivalent, available now from Alldex. Breaking away for scenery releases for a moment here for a release that I personally have been waiting quite some time for. Saw the release this week from developer Just Flight of the release of Airhauler 2 for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now, for those who haven't heard me praise the Airhauler 2 previously, I absolutely love this program because it is it's what it is. I want to say it's almost the original one that has spawned many copycats for the new sim, and this feels like this is like the original, the classic. So Airhauler, I always love because it's a program that gives you a reason to fly places that you wouldn't normally fly. Now, essentially, you take over ownership of you take command of a company, and you go forward, and you sort of build up your cargo hauling empire. Now, Airhauler 2 added in a few other things, added in passenger operations, added in charter flights, and a few other things that weren't in the previous iteration of the program, and it's been overhauled now and updated to work with Microsoft Flight Simulator from its old, previously working only with X-Plane 11 and Prepared and FSX. Now, the update is essentially just Airhauler 2 just ported over onto the new sim. However, it does add sort of some new features in though as well. Now, in terms of the classic features that are still there, so it's a cargo operation. However, it does have full support for passenger operations now as well, including you can set up your own VA or fly for an existing VA with that one as well. What's interesting about this though is that the way they've also, and sort of just deferring on this one slightly, is that when you're starting a new company now, a new level of difficulty, one of the options now is actually designed for people who only want to fly passenger jobs, who only want to sort of do role play as airline pilots. There is an option there now for you, which actually now, instead of forcing you to start with something like a Cessna 152 and work your way up from cargo up onto passenger operations and onto the big stuff later, after some considerable amount of flying, this one now launches you straight away with the A320, and off you go, ready to go, done. So it's really kind of cool that they've really sort of expanding the audience for this product. It really is. Along with that, you've got a variety, as I said, custom missions available, including humanitarian missions, which the server updates from time to time based on real-world events. Also allows you to bring up your company with AI pilots and an AI pilot skill tree system. All of this stuff's kind of in this that's previously in there already. You can also upgrade, purchase bases, commodity trading, factories, and production to produce your own aircraft or buy aircraft from the in-sim vendors. Also, and this is probably the new part that I really want to highlight off there, is that one of the new starting modes is called Nomad mode, and this is been requested on and off by the community for a few years, and was really exemplified by the freeware option that's out there called NeoFlight, where the Nomad option is just that none of the company management, none of the crew management, none of the organizing other AI jobs and tasks and stuff like that. It is literally you are a pilot for hire, where you start with a Cessna 152 and you go from there. And it's just simply going between bases, picking up jobs as you go along. So very much a sort of pilot for hire option. which I think is really the NeoFly really highlighted how big the desire for that was. So I think the developer sort of was inspired by that a little bit. But as I said, I love Air Horror 2. I think it's amazing. I did a very long running stream series of this one, and it may make a comeback now that it's out for the new sim. Now, in terms of that, if you are a new user for this one, you're looking at paying $50 for this one to kickstart this one for your new career. If you're a new user, if you're an existing user of Airhauler 2 for X-Plane 11 or for the legacy ESP platforms, check your email out because there is a discount available for you guys. Keep an eye out for that in your inbox soon. Otherwise, this is available from Just Flight and your favorite flight sim retailer for $50 available now. All right, continuing on with some city releases. All right, this is a batch of 5 releases. Let's just say, okay, so we're moving into the other parts of this of the Microsoft Flight Simulator releases now. Okay, so this is the next 5 releases coming to us from Brazil Land Games. They are charging a lot of money for something that I question the value on. So each of these releases are most of these releases are $6 each, except for the Paris. Okay, so the Paris release and the New York release. So we have Rome, London, Paris, Rio de Janeiro, New York Night Lighting Enhanced packs. Night Light Enhanced packs. Each of these are each of these are $7 each, except for Paris, which is $9, and New York, which is $12. There is no additional scenery, there's no additional buildings, there's no additional content other than they add some light points in. Now, to be fair, the one for New York adds in the September 11 tribute light effects. It does that add those in. The rest just seem to be rather generic splashes of color here and there. Your mileage may vary. Now, while yes, it does, for example, the Rio de Janeiro one actually puts the lights on the Christ the Redeemer statue, which is not present in the default sim, so I get it on one level, but I would rather see us as a community go to Asobo and Microsoft and say, hey guys, can we have some lighting at least for like the hero assets? That'd be nice, rather than this. So anyway, if you want to pick this up, as I said, these are available from Sim Market, available now. All right, moving on to other releases. This time, a port over releases. So from FSDG, we saw them. They have they've ported over their Nairobi scenery for Microsoft Flight Simulator. So they've actually gone through, they've done a partial redo of this one. They haven't updated any of the textures or 3D models, but they have added in some dynamic lighting support, ground materials, and also done undulating runways as well. So looking pretty cool for this one. I've got to call them out though for this one. Their sales pitch is a little lazy, shall we say? So I mean, look, this is part of their light series, so it is just the airport itself. And it looks pretty good. Like I can't fault the airport itself, but they've literally just copy pasted the description from their ESP one. Because it references, it's compatible with any add-on of your choice, like FS Global, UTX, and the FTX series. None of those exist for Microsoft Flight Simulator, so it's like, yeah, guys, come on, like, bit more attention, please, because the airport itself, it looks good. I've got to admit, as I said, their rendition of Nairobi, of Kenyatta, looks pretty good. So anyway, if you want to pick this one up, it's coming in for $20 or regional equivalent, available now from FSDG. All right. Next 3 releases are straight ports. These are straight lazy ports. Nothing's been done with these. These are straight from developer FSX Scenery. It is Burke Lakefront, Khartoum International, and Moi International Airport in Mombasa. These 3 are straight port overs. It's lazy development, straight up. I'm just going to call it as it is. Can I also ask a question about why in every single one of this company sceneries, there's always US Air Force C-130s and C-17s? Like, why? Well, there's always C-130s and sometimes C-17s as well. It's like pretty sure it's just anyway. Moving on. Yeah. Look, if you wanted to pick this one up, buyer beware. They're coming in around about $15 to $18 each. These are straight ports, no discounts for existing owners. Your choice to bear, available now from Sim Market. All right, now that actually wraps up Microsoft Flight Simulator releases for this week. So moving on into the world of X-Plane this week. So the release to us from developer Runway 26 Simulations of their rendition of Linden Pendling Airport for the new sim, or the existing sim. This includes accurately a layout of the airport as it appears in 2020, with all airport buildings modelled in high definition with high definition ground textures, full support for PBR materials throughout, auto gate plug-in accepted, with a variety of static aircraft and a variety of custom detritus kicking around. The building and the modeling look good. The photo reel it sits on looks awful. Is pretty much the only thing I got to say about this. Like, I really like the way the modeling's done. I think they've taken a lot of detail with it. There's a few issues with it of things like the walkways crossing just going straight across the service roads. So this feels a little lazy from them. Like, normally Runway 26 are really quite sharp on details, but this one feels lazy. It just doesn't feel like their usual quality. It really doesn't. Like, as it like seeing the covered walkway just go straight across the roadway a service vehicle uses. It's like, that's just lazy, is what that is. But it gives you a nice destination to go in the Bahamas. But I just feel that there's stuff like that in there where I go, is it worth the $20 they're charging for it? I don't know. Anyway, if you want to pick this one up, this one available from your favorite flight sim retailer, available now. In another release for the X-Plane 11 world from developer Aerosoft, I saw the release this week of their rendition of Airport Alta in Norway. Is this one? So this is a really beautiful, highly detailed rendition of the Alta Airport, including all airport buildings, custom done in high resolution 3D models with high resolution textures. Includes a custom modeling and texturing techniques for all of the ground poly, as well as all buildings. Includes full support for HDR night lighting, full support for the animated marshaller using the SAM plugin as well. Also includes a basic terminal interior and a variety of static aircraft, and high resolution ortho photo imagery around the not only of the airport itself, but also outside the airport for about 50 square kilometers included as well, with a variety of seasonal variations for X-Plane 11 as well. So not bad. Coming in for $18 or your original equivalent, available now from Aerosoft. Moving out of the X-Plane 11 world and moving into the world of the legacy ESP sims. So from coming to us from new developer SimMech, I saw a release of an aircraft that I absolutely love. I have a huge affinity for this aircraft. It was one of the first models I ever actually built, plastic construction models I ever actually built in 1/72 scale. This is the release of the Jet Provost T4. So the Jet Provost, funny enough, is kind of what it says on the tin. So it was one of the, it was definitely one of the first jet trainer aircraft that the Royal Air Force ever actually used. It first developed and first entered service in 1955, and would actually soldier on in some form or another in the Royal Air Force until 1993. That's a long time for a turbojet aircraft to be soldering on for. Now, the Jet Provost came out of a recognition of the fact that jet aircraft was starting to become prominent, become more important. It would be more important for that students would need to learn to fly on a jet. They couldn't just fly on a piston aircraft anymore. So literally, somebody took the Provost, which was a two-seat side-by-side piston engine trainer, and went, let's take the prop out and let's stick a jet on the back. Literally, it's literally what it is. We went through a few evolutions, but that's essentially what it is, and hence the name Jet Provost. As I said, it was a fundamental, basic jet trainer aircraft for the Royal Air Force and other air forces around the world for many, many years. It was originally designed by Hunting Percival and continued to be produced by British Aircraft Corporation. Now, this rendition of the aircraft is designed for prepared V4 and above, and it comes to us with a beautiful, highly detailed 3D model, both internally and externally, with a custom set of flight dynamics designed and tested by Real Hunter and Jet Provost T4 pilot as well. Custom avionics, including Deca, nav, and comm radios, all included as well, updated and adapted for simulator use. Two different variants are included of the T4, including one that's actually survived into posterity as well, which is kind of cool. Three different liveries in there with 4K resolution textures used throughout. Now this is coming in at 19 US dollars, or the original equivalent, available now from Sim Market. In another aircraft release for the ESP family sims from one of my favorite developers, Golden Age Simulations, saw this the release of their rendition of the Kinner B2 Sportwing for the full gambit of the ESP sims. Now, this is an interesting rendition of this aircraft. So it was designed jointly designed by Max B. Harlow and Robert Porter. It's in this era of aviation where it was all about sort of very pioneering, and air racing was actually a kind of popular thing. This one has a two-place open cockpit with side-by-side seating. And was actually interesting of its era because it is, although all metal aircraft were becoming common during this time, this one is not all aluminium. So it is actually, although it looks like it's built to go fast, and it kind of is, it was actually built more as a sort of a two-seat sort of touring, it's a bit of a touring sports car kind of idea. So it'd actually have a sort of a composite construction of both steel tubing, some aluminium, some steel tubing, and also some wooden spars and plywood included in the construction as well. So it's very interesting. The radial engine cows is sort of very sporty style of design, and it just really encapsulates a lot of that era, and it's very and even the cockpit looked very reminiscent of 1930s automobiles. So I just love Golden Age Simulations because they capture so many of these aircraft that were very short production run, but it was such an important time of aviation history as aviation evolved, and when it was really such a barnstorming era, it really was. Anyway, so this particular rendition, it gives a highly detailed, highly accurate 3D model of the aircraft, both internally and externally. Also includes a fully detailed 125 horsepower Kinner B5 engine, fully animated aircraft with a variety of custom animations, as well as full animations inside the cockpit as well, with full support for volumetric prop textures and a high fidelity sound set recorded and included as well. Now, this one, as I said, is really interesting because it is designed to work across all of the ESP Sim family, whether your flavor is FSX, FSX Sim Edition, or prepared in any of their 5 variations available now. Now, this one's coming in normal price for 22 US dollars, but coming in at 11 US dollars as a introductory launch and Christmas gift to everybody. So, if you're wanting if you're still flying and prepared and you want a bit of classic aviation, you really can't go wrong with this aircraft. You really can't. This is available now from Sim Market. Continuing on with it releases, and again, another one of my other favorite developers. So Malaysian Flight Sim Group saw their latest release this week, and I love these developers for one simple reason. Is who they develop for. Okay, so this is Toyama Airport in Japan. This is insane. This scenery as well. So I'll be honest, I love them, but I'm also concerned about this as well. So I've always loved Malaysian Flight Sim Group because they were the only developer that still supported FS9. That their releases would still support all versions of prepared, and would also support FS9, which is always great. This release is the first one where I'm really starting to question that. I'm really starting to question that because not only does it include scenery for FS9 and FSX and prepared in all its versions, this release also supports Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I have questions. Like I have questions, and I normally sort of as I said, I normally praise these developers because the terminal buildings look pretty good, but the scenery, the ground poly it sits on, the photoreal scenery that it sits on, you can get away with this with FS9. You can get away with this low cost for FSX and prepared. It's tough getting away with it in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Like it really is. And to their credit, their credit, it looks like that they've used some of the materials and stuff like that, but the textures really jar when you look at it in Microsoft Flight Simulator. They really do jar. I mean, the night lighting looks amazing in the Microsoft Flight Simulator and the Grand Poly. The tarmac textures look fine, and you make use of the of MSFS's lighting system. But the photo reel it sits on, I just don't know if it's up to snuff. I really don't. So as I said, this is an interesting read. So normally I praise these guys also, I really do, because they support sims that are often forgotten about and are still flown and still used. But I feel that this one size fits all approach had its limit with Prepared, and I think going this far is I've got mixed feelings about it. Like on one level, I'm really happy that they're supporting all the sims, but yeah, I'm mixed about this one. But if you want to give it a go, it's $15 or your original equivalent, available now from SimMarket. All right, moving, let's say out of the flight simulation world, but actually kind of moving sideways to a different form of aviation simulation. So this week released the latest airport for Tower 3D Pro with the release of Washington Dulles International Airport. So, of course, as I said, I haven't got a lot to say about this, but for the Tower ATC and Tower Simulator, Tower 3D Pro, this is your latest airport. Add to it. For runway configuration as it appears in 2020, so that's pretty much all I've got to say about it. Coming in for $20 or your original equivalent, available from Feel There. All right, moving out of the flight simulation world, moving into the world of the Speedway. As we round out the NovaWrap for this week, this is also the release this week of the latest piece of DLC for Tony Stewart's All-American Racing, with the release of his Texas Motor Speedway Dirt Track this week. So basically, this is literally, it is what it says on the tin. It is a rendition of the Texas Motorway Speedway Dirt Track, which is a 0.4 of a mile clay oval with a 12-degree bank throughout all of the turns, and is located near the backstretch of the Texas Motor Speedway complex. This is a new track as it's added to the sim, and it is available in all game modes, including career mode and online multiplayer, and every series of vehicle can race at the track. And that's coming in for $5 or your original equivalent, available now on Steam. And with that, folks, that does now round out the penultimate edition of the NovaWrap for 2020. Thank you very much for joining me. Don't forget, as always, to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying these videos and want to see more. And of course, as always, you can keep up to date with all the things I'm up to if follow me on Twitter and on Facebook. Just search NovaWing24. All right, folks, thanks very much for watching. Take care, safe skies to all, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.